You're listening to the Savoir Faire Audio Experience.
Are you ready?
The Savoir Faire Experience is your guide to everything that has to do with lifestyle. From dating, rides, style, and entertainment. All brought to you by the editor of Savoir Faire magazine, Robert White. Anything goes on this audio experience. So, let's go.
It's still the best.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Savoir Faire Audio Experience. Thank you guys for sharing, caring, loving. All the love is definitely noticed, and we appreciate you. Today's another great interview. Very excited about this one because it's something that's new to me and hopefully not new to you, those listeners out there. We are here with Jade Chang Sheppard. Hello, Jade.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. Jade is the owner of a company called Fermenteria. It's a fun word. I've been trying to pronounce it all morning. Fermenteria. It's a company that is kind of mastering water kefir, which is great. I have went down the water kefir rabbit hole today and learned a lot about this stuff, but I'm sure Jade is an expert in this category, so I'm excited to learn even more. Jade, what I want to do is kind of go down a little bit of timeline with you, and I'm really curious about where you were in life before water kefir became part of it. So maybe we could start with one of the questions I ask quite often. If I had your resume in front of me, what would I learn about you?
Okay, well, let's see. I've started my first business when I was 26 years old. I had graduated from college and then worked in tech for a little while and then realized the office was not the place for me, so decided to be an entrepreneur. Long story short, started that business when I was 26 and grew that to about 54 million. And
what was that business?
It's not super interesting. We were government contractors.
Well, you went from nothing to 54 million. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. It was actually an amazing business. I was really blessed. I started with nothing other than leftover student loans and credit cards, and got a couple lucky breaks, and up and down. But it was a great business. I'm very blessed, and it brought me to where I am now. Along the way, I got into real estate and also hospitality. And then one of the hospitality projects, I own a resort down in Nicaragua. I'm a surfer. And so I was an expat living in Nicaragua for a little while. And when I was down there, someone was making water kefir and had me try it. And I just couldn't believe that it was like a probiotic drink because I was so used to drinking kombucha for the probiotic benefits. But kind of reluctantly because I didn't like the way it tasted. But water kefir did not taste anything like vinegar. It was just kind of like a soda. So I just immediately was like, okay, I got to learn how to make this. And I want to sell this in the US. So that fast forward about 2 years, it took 2 years for me and what eventually became my team, a lot of experimenting to develop what we have today, because there was almost nothing. There is nothing out there on commercially making water kefir. There's a number of articles on how to make it at home, but making it at home and making it in 10-barrel, fermenters is very different. And so all along the way, we were just crossing our fingers, hoping that it would work. And the product that we ended up with is super unique. It is basically a bubble water. It tastes like a liqueur or a hint water, like an effervescent hint water. So it's only flavored with essences. It's 0 sugar and 0 sweeteners. And there is really no other fermented beverage and even really functional beverage on the market that has both 0 sugar and 0 sweeteners. And then we have 10 to 12 billion probiotics per can of non-alcoholic, and that's also the highest on the market that we know of. And but really beyond that, like, yes, there's all these scientific things, but the thing that we are really trying to bring back to this functional beverage market, we all know this is a really hot market, right? Like, we saw the exit of Poppy, everyone's so interested, functional beverages, there's like all this buzz around it, but really, what is a functional beverage? Like, and I'm a very health savvy consumer. I'm a biohacker. I'm an athlete, and I look at all my ingredients. I look at all the nutritional panels, and I just couldn't believe what people are calling functional beverages out there. And so I'm really basically selling to myself as a health savvy consumer. And I want consumers to really trust our brand. I kind of think of it as like the like liquid death. Like, none of it is about marketing. Of course it is about marketing. We have beautiful packaging, and yeah, I'm going to put money into marketing, but it's all about trust and functionality and product. So we're positioning ourselves as like the drink for people who read ingredient lists, people who are looking for like true functionality. So yeah, well, that's what we're excited about. And the reason why that's at the heart of what we are and who we are is because the heart of our building, of our brewery where we brew. So we self-manufacture in San Antonio in this building that I've actually owned for a while. It housed my previous business. And it just happened to have this perfect warehouse with floor drains in it, perfect for a brewery. And there's a tap room in front. So we have a water kefir tap room that's open every weekend. But the heart of that building is actually our laboratory. And we have an in-house lab where we propagate and test all of our cultures for health, aliveness. So our drinks arrive to your gut fully alive. It's really, really cool room with all sorts of machines and microscopes, the PCR testing machine and everything. And our folks are running that and the brewery at the same time.
I love this. This is so cool, Jade. I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm so glad that you and I connected. I'm listening to your story and you're talking about this stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, no sugar, no sweetener. Keep talking. These are my favorite words. And and so all of a sudden you're talking to me about like the reformation of your previous business and using the same building to now set up the brewery, the lab that's in there, the idea that you're a health conscious person and really focused on making sure people are getting the best benefits from your drink. I love this. I can't wait to sample this stuff now. So talk to me a little bit about some of the health stuff, because I'm really curious about this. So for those that don't know what kefir is, tell me what that is, and then talk to me about the health benefits.
Okay, so kefir is a fermented beverage. So I think everyone's heard of kombucha. And if you've tried kombucha on your own, what you do is you brew something called a SCOBY, which is like a clump of bacteria. And that creates your fermented beverage. So we are similar. We don't brew SCOBY. We brew what are called kefir grains, but they're not grains. They're really also they look like gummy bears, like little translucent gummy bears. And that is what we brew. And the byproduct of kombucha is like a vinegar, and ours is not. So while it's fermented, it's a completely different type of fermented beverage. And actually, like if you were to try to ferment kefir and kombucha, as a brewer, you can't even brew them in the same room because of the cross contamination. So it's totally different. It's not necessarily better. I think actually, if you were really a gut health conscious person, you could drink. It's great to drink both because then you'd get great gut biodiversity because they have different strains. Kombucha typically has 2 or 3 strains of probiotics, where our water kefir has over 12. And so it's similar but different. and yeah, when you look under the microscope, you can see these organisms. We call them probiotics, but they're really different types of bacteria and organisms, and they're fully alive. They're wiggling. It's really cool. We're actually going to live stream some of this, the lab work, on like TikTok Live and YouTube, so people can see what these things actually look like under the microscope. And as far as what probiotics or this kind of bacteria, the benefits are for your gut, so that goes into a whole section of health that I'm not really an expert on, but I am a really, really big believer in, if not for my own, from my own like life, but I think a quick search shows that it is like your second brain. People call it your second brain, your gut.
Yeah.
And it regulates everything from your hormones to your nervous system to your obviously your digestion, your immune system, like everything. And, that's why they say when you take antibiotics and you're taking a nuclear bomb to your gut. And these kinds of microorganisms really are super beneficial, for both gut biodiversity and continuing to support your gut. But I just see it like in my own life, and from digestion to health to immunity, like immune system. And I'm not like a kimchi person, but I love like sauerkraut, and I really try to support my gut in every way with like natural foods, as much as I can. So I try not to do like supplements unless I've just taken a round of antibiotics for some reason. I really try to get it through natural foods. And these are probiotics, but you really need insoluble fiber as well. I mean, this goes into like a whole lot of health that I'm truly not an expert at. And there's a lot of amazing podcasts out there, but I do listen to so many of these podcasts. Like I'm a avid listener of Peter Attia. I've been a member forever and all those. But so this is only one part of the, this gut ecosystem. But what really gets me and why I was talking about the insoluble fiber is like, people are putting like all sorts of stuff on these beverage cans, like, prebiotics and probiotics, and people I'm not sure there's a whole lot of substance behind what people are putting on there. Like you're putting 1 gram of inulin fiber into your soda and calling it a prebiotic soda. And I really think that's doing consumers a disservice, because 1 gram of inulin fiber is not a prebiotic. Is it better than drinking a Diet Coke? Sure. Yeah, if that's what you want to compare yourself to. But we aren't holding brands to being scientifically correct. And 1 gram's not.
That's something that I was reading yesterday, actually, because I interviewed somebody that was also in a health drink space, and we talked about a lot of the FFA stuff that's kind of coming out for drink organizations. There are people getting their hands slapped right now. There's not fines or lawsuits coming, but people are getting their hands slapped based on their marketing and promotion. One that I'll re-mention, I guess, that we specifically talked about was vitamin water, because everyone assumes that, well, if I'm drinking this, there must be vitamins in there. But but what actually happens is when you put vitamins in water, they actually dissolve and break down. And so the pure part of the vitamin is not in the water anymore. It's like, it goes in at 100%, but by the time a consumer buys it, you're getting 20% of the benefit. And so having that name on the bottle is just horrible, right? At that point, because now it's like kind of false advertising. So it's kind of what you're saying, though, with people saying, well, there's a probiotic in this drink, and if this is something you really want, then that makes sense. But your formula and what your guys are doing with kefir, like kefir is clearly a very rich source of a probiotic. It's I was doing some research on this stuff today, so it's a good thing for gut health. It's huge for immune function. And antioxidants that are in there that help with stuff. There's reduces inflammation, your blood sugar control. Like this is got all the health benefits wrapped up into it that are scientifically proven, that if you're drinking this stuff, like, you're hitting it on the mark. So I have a question for you, because Of course, it's like super, super healthy, but you also made an alcoholic version. And I'm curious, like,
Yes.
how does that happen?
Yes. Well, I'll tell you why. It's very interesting because the alcohol version is actually the pure fermented drink. So all
Oh,
fermented beverages are alcoholic by nature. Even kombuchas are alcoholic by nature.
got it.
So you have to do things to them, whatever it is that a company decides to do to make it to make it meet the FDA standard of non-alcoholic.
Okay, so
So if
it's like
you
unpasteurized apple cider. If you let it sit
exactly,
too long, it turns into
yes,
vinegar and it's then alcohol.
yep,
So you guys are doing a very similar process.
yeah. So if you did the same thing with kombucha, it would definitely be alcoholic. And so our water kefir, our alcoholic water kefir, is kind of is that you'll see it has 20 billion CFUs per can. Because it's kind of like that unpasteurized. I mean, not that our non-alcoholic is not pasteurized either. So yeah, it is. It's a really cool alcoholic drink. We don't sell that retail. That's really mostly just kind of
In the
in
brewery,
our
yeah.
tap room. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're not against selling it retail, but it's a whole different business because of the distribution model that I haven't been willing to tackle yet. And I really am not sure how to. Alcohol is highly,
It's
highly
another beast, yeah,
regulated.
for
It's a
sure.
whole nother
Yeah.
beast. Yeah. So, but I love it because I actually am very allergic to alcohol. I mean, I'm Asian. It turns me super red, but
Hmm.
that redness is really a sign of poison in your body. And I cannot drink wine or even beer. I have to sip it very lightly. But the first time I drank this alcoholic water kefir, it was amazing. Like I had a nice little buzz and it just kind of came and went, no hangover, no headache, nothing. It's low 5% ABV and you can barely taste the alcohol. It's really, really, really nice. So if alcohol were like in, which it really isn't, which I totally get, even
Mm-hmm.
I don't drink a lot of alcohol. If it was in, you know, I would probably put more effort into making it a thing. But we
Yeah.
are, what's not on the website and not out, is we are actually making, probiotic shots,
Oh, that's
out
yeah.
of our culture. Yeah. So we have, we use the culture to brew. That's how we make the beverage, but we actually have that culture, and we're using that culture to make and bottling that into little 2-ounce probiotic shots of like 60 billion CFUs per shot.
I love that because I'm buying pretty regularly the shots that are like vinegar and
No,
I
I will
know
give you ours. It's
the ginger vinegar and
totally
something else in there.
no. No, I mean, none of these shots are like things that you want to sip 12 ounces of, but ours is not not bad tasting.
Okay, it's a painful
And
situation,
it's
but I feel like I'm helping my body, so I just
no,
go
and
through
it's
it.
so pure. It's really like pretty much our pure culture.
Oh, I love
Like
that.
it's
So,
really
so what
cool.
came
Yeah.
first? I mean, I feel like you're a really health conscious person. When you were creating this product, did the alcohol part come first, or the
Yes.
non-alcoholic part came first?
Yes. The alcohol came first.
Okay.
And that was because I was like initially like really passionate about that because I was like, oh, we're creating an alcohol that's like full of probiotics and
Yeah.
it actually is like a really nice feeling, as well as tasting alcohol. So that came first. But yeah, you know what? I'm a business person, above, like I'm a passionate entrepreneur, but I'm a business person. And
Hmm.
the fact is, alcohol just really is hard to sell right now. And we were getting a lot of requests from the non-alcoholic.
Yeah.
So then I was like, hey guys, we need to like take this non-alcoholic seriously. And that was like a good move because retailers really were super interested in the non-alcoholic. And it's a different buyer for the alcohol. So it just was, so yeah, we really turned our attention to the non-alcoholic and, kind of dialing that in. And it really resembles a bubble water. So I think we're going to be able to carve out like a really nice niche for ourselves.
I think so too. This is really cool. I love this stuff. I'm excited about your brand, but I want to talk to you a little bit about some business stuff too, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
I mean, you talked a
sure.
little bit about your past and other industries that you were involved with, and now you're in this beverage space pretty
Hmm.
aggressively. Obviously, you're doing a
Yeah.
lot here. Talk to me about the differences in like growing a beverage company in general. Like, what were some of the things that you ran into when you were doing all this?
Well, I mean, I'm still at the early stages. So we have only sold through our tap room for the first year.
Okay.
So sold locally in Texas, Central Texas. And then starting early Q1 this year, I started selling, courting retail. And that's been a whole learning curve, to say the least. Yeah, it hasn't been easy. I mean, I think we hear a lot about all these like amazing miracle unicorn stories, and it gets
Hmm.
people so excited, but it really isn't like that for the 99% of the people out there, and I'm part of that 99. I think I have a unicorn product, but it's not. It's tough. It's a tough business, CPG.
Hmm.
Getting the attention of and figuring it out, but um and then and my next move here is to really start developing our online and selling through our selling online. So that's a whole nother business model, right? Going direct to consumer.
Right, because now you have to talk
Um,
about like shipping and it's a liquid
yes,
product
digital
and yeah.
marketing and yeah. But ours doesn't have to be refrigerated, which is another like once you receive it, it should be chilled for the health of probiotics. But it's not what they call a cold chain where it has to be cold at every part of its like from inception because a lot of fermented beverages have to be because otherwise it'll explode. But
Mm.
ours doesn't because it contains no sugar. Um, but it's been a really serious learning curve learning CPG. I've never done anything consumer facing.
Hmm.
Um, and I will have to say that my um, business superpower as an entrepreneur has always been this, not really quite understanding what I'm doing because it forces me to rely on people who do. And
Mm.
that prevents me from ever micromanaging any part of the business, really. I guess you can say that as a founder, I am micromanaging the marketing and sales and strategy and the direction of the business. But as far as operations and even like a lot of the marketing, I just don't know enough for me to be the one to like to do it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's
And
the
so
highlight of being an entrepreneur, though, right? Is being able to figure things out. I mean, every time you learn a new skill in this thing that you love, like a new business, even for me, a new business is like my perfect little baby, and now I have to raise it up and make it great and make it a good human or make it a good business so people love it, whatever. And you're kind of in that phase too, where you really kind of like the hustle, the grind, the education aspect of it all. And this is kind of unique that you're going down this path and like trying to learn every little piece, and now you're going to step into this even bigger fish world of distribution and how do we get our products around the country and expand from Texas. And I mean that's a big chunk of the drink industry is just figuring that piece out, and then hopefully you get that home run. Like as soon as it starts hitting the market, people are buying it off the shelf like crazy, and then it kind of takes off from there. But it makes sense to stumble through some of this stuff. But I think you're coming from some experience from other businesses, obviously, and I think that's kind of your superpower in this regard.
yeah, it's definitely not easy, and I spend a lot of my life um, being very careful about my mindset
Mm.
and meditating. To be totally honest, meditating and listening to podcasts and just making sure that my mind is in the right place because it's really easy to go down a dark hole, and
Yeah.
feel like really depressed about where you're at. Like I should be farther along. This depressing piece of news. It's a lot of highs and lows. Like a lot of people just see our highs, but they don't see our lows.
Yeah, that's
or
true.
mine, you know, as a
Uh-huh.
person. Like I'll tell you all day long about our successes. Like we are a finalist in a pitch for the next trade show, and I'm super excited about that. A lot of retailers and buyers and founders will be there, but no one knows that like I actually like woke up this morning kind of like feeling a little depressed about, you know, why things are so slow in the summer and how come we got a yes, but it's not like nothing's moving, or did they ghost me? Like
Yeah.
no one ever talks about that kind of stuff, you know? And you just hear all these amazing stories from all these like incredible success stories, but it's really a lot of highs and lows. You get an amazing success story and a yes, and then 6 months later, you're like, holy shit, why am I losing so much money? And like you're like, oh, if I don't raise money, then I'm gonna go out of business. Like that's a really serious low, you know.
Yeah.
And so it's like highs and lows all the time. I will say like I'm just in a different place than I was 20 years ago. Like I started my first business 20 years ago with nothing. I had no contacts. I was 26 and a minority woman in a horribly like male dominated industry. And that was truly depressing. I mean, but I also had nothing to lose. I was not married. I had no kids. I had no property, no mortgage, nothing.
Yeah.
And so I just threw it all on the line. I feel like I'm throwing it all on the line now. Like I literally, like I'm taking almost all of like my proceeds from the sale, and I'm just kind of squirreling away for this business. But I do have a lot more on the line now. I have 3 kids. I have like multiple financial obligations.
Yeah.
You know, so it's still the same cycle, but at least, you know, at least at this point, I know I'll still be okay, even if it doesn't work out, you know, but I don't really ever, back to the mindset thing, I really don't ever stay in that kind of space for very long, but
I mean, this comes with every entrepreneur without a doubt. And this is not an
I know,
industry.
but no one ever talks about it.
I know, and when we can for a second. I mean, this is not a life choice that is like what people don't see. They see like, okay, well, you're an entrepreneur, so that means you have freedom of schedule. You have
people think that you
revenue.
have a lot of money.
You have all these things happening. It's not like that 100%. When I tell a lot of people about my entrepreneur journey, I say I'm on a roller coaster. Some months are great, some months are horrible. And it's up and down all the time. And it's not for the faint of heart. Like you really have to have thick skin. You have to be dominant to be able to say no to opportunity sometimes. You have to be patient. I mean, it sounds like, Jade, you're having a moment where patience is kind of the challenging piece for you, because here you are in a very strong, like,
I'm not a super patient person.
Neither am I. I want overnight success, and it's been 13 years and I still don't have it yet. So, you know what I mean? Like you have to kind of just be patient and grind. But I think the universe rewards positive energy and positive behavior.
Absolutely.
And from my perspective, I always assumed that like, okay, I'm on this journey. I'm paying my bills every month. I'm okay. There's a roof over my house. There's a support network involved. Like as long as those things are kind of there, and you always feel like if you fell backwards, you'd be caught. That's the piece that keeps me trying, right? So, and I think I'm positive you have that.
Yeah, like I don't really believe so much in luck.
Yeah,
other
than
no such like thing. Right, like I feel like we have to put in our side, right? Like do the work, put in the effort, and take action. Mm-hmm. And the luck comes from, like people say you're in the right place at the right time, but that's because you took action to be there, you know?
Right.
So I feel like the action is like our show of like faith and like belief, you know, that, and then the universe meets you there. And
yeah, I think that you're right on par with that too. I mean, it just sometimes it's just about launching it, just making it happen and getting it out into the world and letting people kind of give you feedback or buy the product, and you get a lot of reward from just launching something. And obviously you're doing some cool stuff now. You're getting into the press a little bit. You know, we're talking today on a podcast to kind of discuss your product and put it out into my audience, and hopefully they'll super like engage with the product, because I mean health drinks are a huge craze right now, but like this one really is hitting all the marks, all the check marks for something that people need to have in the refrigerator, putting into their system for the health benefits benefits alone on top of the flavors. And now hearing your story, which is what I like to bring to my audience, is just this uniqueness, because I always feel like it's the owner that's really going to sell me on a product. I want to know your story. I want to know where this drink came from. I want to know why you created it and what that backstory is. And that's the part that I think people really attach to in marketing these days. It's not so much the company, but the person that founded it. So it's really cool that you're kind of putting yourself in the front of everything and saying, this is who I am. This is why I created it. This is why I want to share it with the world. Super cool. So I want to just kind of brag up some stuff here for you. So it's store.fermenteria.com. I'm going to spell it out. FERMENTERIA.com. That's where you can go and grab samples, buy products. Looks like it's sold in 4-packs. There's a handful of flavors available. They also have Instagram, which I was following, which is super cool. It looks like a very fun, exciting brand. You guys are killing it on social. Instagram is Drink Fermenteria. That's just simple, all one word. So hopefully people will go check everything out. I think this is extremely impressive. Jade, I'm really impressed with you, and I really can't wait to try the drink and have samples of this. And hopefully other people will check it out as well.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Again, thank you for your time today and talking with us about your drink and your company and yourself. That's really cool. I really appreciate us connecting and talking about all this.
Lovely. Thanks.
Thank you for listening to the show. Please take a minute to head over to www.savfair.com and subscribe to our publication.